This side's all kind of put back together. I gotta put the spring in and the shock and tighten everything up. But this whole suspension is gotta go in, and then I have to put the new leaf springs in the rear and the lift blocks, so that way we can fit all that underneath. Okay, this is the driver's side. It's all done. I still have to do the torsion bars on both sides and the torsion bar drop brackets for the cross member. Up front, I need to do the inner tie rods. I probably don't need to replace them, but I beat them apart with a pickle fork, so I just got some nice Moog replacements. And then the front end will be done. Yeah, I'll just have to kind of eyeball the camber at least. I'm sure my caster will be off, but it'll get me 3 miles to the alignment shop. And right now, you can kind of see this one's tilted pretty far in. This one's actually tilted a little ways out. So I'll just eyeball those once the tie rods are replaced, and then I'll see what this looks like with tires on the front. Man, those things are big. So there we go, the front end is done. It definitely needs to be aligned. It's got some massive toe out. That'll be corrected once the rear suspension's done. But it's got a sweet stance, all kinds of clearance. The wheels and tires look good. They don't stick out an unusual amount. They look good. So, you know, that's good. The rear wheels and tires are just on. That's so I can lower it down and get that rear axle disconnected, rolling around. I've got to extend the brakes and remove the shocks, and then I got to pull the springs and shackles, and then I have to get those new springs in, and then the new lift blocks and U-bolts, and get it all back together. All right, here we are on the rear of the 1997 3/4 ton Suburban. Got all kinds of room to work, and right now I've got to disconnect those shocks, and then I got to disconnect that rear brake hose bracket, and hopefully I've got enough line and the line's in good enough shape that I can just massage it down 4 or 5 inches and just deal with it that way. But I've got new springs there on the floor. We got U-bolts and lift blocks, and that's good. So time to get to work. Okay, here we are with the rear end disconnected. U-bolts are taken apart. Everything's good. And the rear end's just sitting on those blocks on this workbench table. And now I need to get these leaf springs out. Now, everything in the front end came apart real well. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get this apart quite easy as well. The bolts always have a tendency to stick inside the bushings of the leaf springs. So I've got myself a big cheater pipe right there. It's probably 4 feet long or so. And it's just to create a little bit of tension leverage to break that bolt loose from the sleeve inside that bushing. So hopefully it works, and my impact is just shaking because the rubber bushing is taking all the impact. So hopefully I can get this thing spun a little bit and get those bolts zinging out of there. Okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna make an executive decision and keep those springs. Yeah, I'm kind of short on time to wrap this vehicle up and get it going. And the reason I was going to replace the springs is because it had a little bit of a squat to the driver's side. But with these blocks, the tires are going to clear. It might still have a little bit of squat. But once I get it aligned, I'm just going to set my ride height and maybe even scale it. So so it might just have a little bit of lean to the left on the driver's side front as well. I'll get it aligned, get it so it drives down the road good, and deal with the squat come springtime. We need a 4-wheel drive right now, and got some other vehicles that need some attention. Norman's got some injectors going bad, and the Cadillac blew out a rear end. It was a junkyard unit. So there's work to be done that requires the hoist. So I'm going to just tighten that nut back up and start with the lift blocks and the big old U-bolts and get this thing rolling down the road. You know, I forgot to mention, I don't know, the reason that I'm not going to replace these springs other than the time is that this is the first one I took apart, took loose, and let's see if we can get in there. You can just barely see that bushing between the spring and the hanger, the rusty part there. That bushing sleeve is spinning inside the bushing, so that means I'm going to get the torch out and have to make a big old rubbery, nasty, burned mess and take up a bunch of time, get new hardware, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I am cutting this corner for now, and we'll address it come springtime. Well, this side's together and snug. This side is not. There's only one U-bolt because the new one that they gave me has like 2 threads. Let's see if I can find it there. You can kind of see right there. It's like mashed. I don't know. So going together, the end's stripped out bad. So tomorrow I'll have to go up to the State Spring up in Grand Rapids and get another long U-bolt to match the other 3 here. And then I'll be able to get this, I'll tape measure from this corner of the axle up to a common hole. Same thing over there, and get it squared to the vehicle. I think these are the reason that a lot of lifted trucks have a dog track problem, where they'll be going down the road. You know, you'll be following them, and the back end isn't following the front end very square. And so I like to square up the rear end before the front end gets aligned. Thanks for watching, and look forward to getting this thing on the ground soon.